Wow. Can you guys believe it? It's been 10 years since Stranger Things came out. And did they stick the finale? Well, that remains to be seen. Thanks for joining Masochist today, and we're going to be breaking down Stranger Things Season 5 finale. So, the big question is, guys, did the Season 5 finale deliver? And the answer is yes. 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 Kind of. It's not as bad as Game of Thrones, so we don't have a GOT Season 8 situation on our hands. But I will say they didn't deliver on some aspects that I think we were all kind of looking forward to. So we're going to go through this with the pros and the cons and everything in between. So let's get started with the cons. Personally, I think Vecna finished off way too early. When I first loaded up my Netflix, I saw that it was 2 hours and 8 minutes, I think. I was like, oh my goodness, we just ended on a crazy cliffhanger. Let's go. This is gonna be like just 2 hours straight action, pump and grind, shooting, demo dogs, rah, rah, rah. I'm like, okay, I'm buckled in. An hour in, Vecna's dead. Pardon me. 5 seasons of build-up just to kill off the big bad in an hour? Like, what? And I'm not gonna lie, I thought the fight was a little bit lackluster too. Like, these guys are just pushing their hands and blah, blah, screaming. I'm like, could we do something different for once? Like, I wasn't expecting any hand-to-hand combat or anything crazy, but Eleven's been on this crazy training arc. Like the biggest thing she does is the big jump, and it's like that's all we're gonna get. Will had a little scene in there, but I was very disappointed with how they decided to end the Vecna side of things. Luckily, there was no more of that episode 7 mumbo jumbo with Will, and they kind of kept it, to a minimum with Will, which was appreciated. After that horrible last episode cliffhanger, I was super over it. So glad they didn't do that. It was a good episode. I think they were able to wrap things up in a satisfying way. I will say though, like I felt like the episode was like a two-parter. We had the finale, and then the last hour was epilogue. Just wrap up, where are the characters now? What are they doing? Which is fine, but for all the build up and all the hype and everything that they were building up in the series, I thought more was gonna happen. Even the upside down. The upside down, we found out, is a wormhole. So it's not another dimension. The upside down is a wormhole to Dimension X, which is cool and all, but they didn't really do anything with that reveal. I mean, wormhole to another, like I think they could have just left it as the upside down as it is, and that would have been fine. They didn't really have to do this whole Dimension X thing and kind of shuffle it in the last 2 episodes. I thought that was kind of rushed. Characters, I mean, guys, where are the stakes? Where are the world ending? Where's the tension? I mean, I was really expecting one of our main cast to go, and sadly they just did not have the cojones to go through with it. So there was no death. The whole cast makes it through to the end, like the entire cast. I'm not even joking, guys. The only one who dies is Colleen, and I don't know about y'all, but I could care less about Colleen. Okay, when she died, I ain't even have a tear on my face. I'm like, okay, next, let's get to the next section. Next section. I didn't even flinch, man. So to not take away at least one of the main characters, you know, I thought that probably would have been better for some emotional impact. Like, damn, I can't believe they did that. But you know, unfortunately, they didn't go through with it. So it is what it is, right? Honestly, I think Netflix has a really bad reputation for making some of their shows really cliche and corny, kind of easy to read, and I kind of felt that's kind of what we were getting with this last episode. You know, it really kind of felt cartoonish. Some of this season actually just felt very cartoonish to me. You know, it felt really Scooby-Doo. That's the way to put it. You know, they're microwaving popcorn. Pop, pop. Oh my gosh, we popped the particles. And particles explode when they're popped. You know, it's like that kind of writing. It's kind of just on the nose. So there was a lot of that in this episode. And I really feel like they were really heavy on the whole power of friendship thing. Like, there's nothing the power of friendship won't do. Especially with that bit with Will and Vecna. I'm very surprised that they made Will relate to Vecna. That was kind of weird to me. He was like, oh, Henry, you're just like me. Like, trauma brothers, I guess. Like, that was kind of weird, you know? I thought Will was going to be like, you know, like, dude, like, screw you, like, I'm gonna take some satisfaction in this, you know, but I guess not. You know, the writers are going for something different. It's kind of weird because Stranger Things has always been that dark series, and they've never really shied away from gore or horror or, you know, some of the darker aspects of life in general. You know, so I was really surprised to see them kind of wimp out in this final season and just not go the final mile. Because I know we were all expecting for one character to die at least, and to not even go through with it was kind of ridiculous, I think. Even that little pull they did with 11, I didn't like that. You know, if they were going to make 11 sacrifice herself, then I think she should have really sacrificed herself in the end, right? That would have had some more pull to it, some more weight to it. Like, wow, you know, it would have been really bittersweet. It would have been bittersweet. You know, she wouldn't have gotten to live the life that she wanted, and that would have been tragic. But she would have also been able to save the people that she formed connections with, you know, that she genuinely loved. And I think there is beauty in that, in giving up your life for the people that you love, you know. So I think they kind of cheaped out with that ending, with her being alive. And you could argue that that was just Mike making up stories, but I think the implication is pretty clear. She's still alive. I don't know about you guys either, but I really get frustrated when things just don't seem believable, or when characters are dumbed down just for the purpose of plot. And I can't lie, I do feel like that's what they did with Hopper, man. Hopper got the dumbed down treatment. It was sad to see. I genuinely don't think that after all his encounters with Vecna, knowing the Upside Down, the mental manipulation, that he would be tricked so easily and just shoot the canister and then, oh my gosh, she's not shot. Who would have thought? You know, I thought that was a little on the nose, you know. I think Hopper should have been able to see through that. And at the very least, he wouldn't have shot at the tank. Like, that should have just been a dead giveaway, you know. But it is what it is. You know, Netflix has a reputation with these things. And I wouldn't say they ruined the season or they ruined Stranger Things as a whole. I do think they ended on a good note, but there are some complaints, some standout complaints. I will be very honest. But it's not all doom and gloom. With the cons being done, let's move on to the pros, guys. And I know after all the cons, you might not believe it, but I still did very much enjoy the episode and how they wrap things up. One of the very first things that I will say is after episode 7 and that horrible cliffhanger they left us on, they did start the episode really well. They started off with a bang. We were right into the action. No waiting, no anything. We were just right in it, and that was great. I loved it right from the jump. We were on the tower. Planet X is coming down. People are about to die. I thought Steve was about to die there, and mark my words, if Steve died, I was about to crash out, destroy my TV, destroy my apartment, because we know the rule here. Steve and Dustin, number one, they are sacred, no bueno, not allowed to go. So they got me there, I will say. They did a good job with that. Hopper and Elle have been a cornerstone of the series from season 2 onward. So any time with those two is just amazing. It was kind of sad to see that they spent most of season 5 in a bad place, arguing, not really the Elle and Hopper that, we know, but I get what they were trying to do, but I still think they could have resolved things better. And then again, the speech that Hopper gave to Mike at the end, like, David Harbour, man, like, he knows how to deliver a speech. I can't lie. Like, that guy knows what he's doing, because damn, like, the two roads and Mike is just, I feel for Mike too, because, he lost his girl. They did a really good job just displaying, the loss, the grief. Even Dustin, great job, like, I actually have really nothing bad to say about the acting, phenomenal performances. Like, I really, shout out to everybody who thought the Mind Flayer was coming back, because you guys were right. The Mind Flayer super came back, made a big appearance. This time he wasn't that shadowy thing though. He was like, big, ugly. He looked like the final boss of the villain from Stranger Things season 3. In the mall, that big fleshy weird spider monster. It was like that, but like final boss, I guess, Performance wise, I think they all did a pretty solid job acting. I gotta give it to Hopper, man. Those speeches he be giving, they be getting me in the guts. That first speech he gave to Jane about how he just wants a better life for her, I dare any one of you to tell me you guys were not tearing up in that, because that just hit me in the heart. Overall, I don't think that Stranger Things will go down as a bad series, but I do think that in time people will come to be less fond of the finale and how they ended things. I think once all the buzz kind of dies down, then people are gonna rewatch it and they'll maybe analyze it a little more. And some of those plot holes, they stick out a little bit too much for me. I know that season 5 episode 7 was the lowest rated of the whole series. I actually have yet to go see what the score is for the finale, and that would be interesting. If anybody knows, please drop it down in the comments below. I'd say it was satisfactory. They wrapped up all the loose ends in a good way. I think there was some really good moments again in the finale. I mean, even when Joyce was chopping off Vecna's head, that was great, and they were flashing back all the pain, all the memories. That was amazing. Like, finally it's done, it's finally over, wrapped up. Let's get out of here. Overall, I would say a 6 is the fairest rating I could give it, with all the plot holes. Maybe once I rewatch the series again as a whole, that review will go up, but for now, that's where I'm at. solid 6. They didn't destroy the series, but I don't think they did anything to really leave that lasting mark that a finale needs. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Please comment, subscribe, like the video if you want to see more reviews, breakdowns, and more nerdy talk. Guys, thank you so much for listening, and I will be back again with the next one. Thank you.